Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. And if you are new, thank you and welcome to the Frugal and Fabulous family. I'm so excited to have you all here, and I'm so excited to be talking about all these frugal and fabulous topics that I'm so excited and just so pumped, I guess I am, about all the new. I've been working on many new things, and today I wanted to talk about wants versus needs. Since I am in a no-spend month, it's become very clear to me what my wants and what my needs are. So before I get started, I do want to clarify that every single person is an individual, and every single individual's wants are going to be different from mine, and their needs might be different than mine too. So these are my own opinions, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. This is just for my own self, and I thought I would share with you. So let's get started. Before we get into it, just wanted to show you my little drawing here. It's not perfect, but the very first, this is Maslow's theory, hierarchy, or whatever. The very first needs that must be met in order for our survival are the physiological needs, and those include food, water, air, shelter, and clothing. That is it. I don't know if those are in the right order, but that is it. So the first one is air. Air is free pretty much everywhere you go, and I really hope it stays that way. The second one is water. Water we need. That is it. And some places you actually have to purchase your water because the water is not clean, and that I understand. But going out for coffee, or going out for like Starbucks or Tim Hortons, or going out for drinks after work, those are not needs. Those are basically wants that we really want. Juice, milk, soda, smoothies, those are all wants. None of those are needs. So basically our one and most important is water. If we have that, we can live. The others are just extras. The next one is food. Food, we definitely need food to survive, and do what we need are grains or breads, fruits and vegetables, proteins, and our dairy or calcium sources. And they don't necessarily need to come from animals. And you basically have simple meals with simple bread, apples, oranges, bananas, simple fruits, and maybe like some lettuces like spinach or cabbages are all fairly cheap and don't cost a lot. And then your beans for protein, and your chicken, maybe even tuna, and some other fish is actually not too expensive either. Your wants would be prepackaged frozen dinners. You're eating out or ordering in. Those are all wants. None of those are needs. You don't need prepackaged foods, or you don't need to go eat out, and you definitely do not need to order in. So the next one is shelter. For me, I need to feel safe in my shelter, and it needs to be a clean shelter. So you don't need to be rich to have either of those. You don't need. A want would be the biggest house in the fanciest neighborhood, and an apartment, like a penthouse. You don't need that kind of stuff. You need a simple house. My house is very simple, and that's all you need, is something to keep you from the snow and the rain, or whatever weather that you have where you are. That's all that you need. Anything else is just pure want. And not that you're not allowed to have that kind of thing. If you work really hard, sure, you can have the biggest house that you can afford. But if you can afford it, that's what I'm talking about, is when you cannot afford it and you are buying the biggest, best of everything. And then clothing is the last one that they have listed on here. Everybody needs to be covered because of our climates are so drastic everywhere we go. So it needs to be decent and appropriate for work. So if you work in an office, or you're you know, a higher up business office man, then I guess you're gonna need some suits. But wants would be your name brands like Calvin Klein's, Gucci, Guess, and always shopping brand new. Those are definitely wants. You only maybe need a few suits that you can mix throughout the week. You only need a few shirts. You only need a few bottoms. Some people way back when only had a couple outfits for all of the time, and they survived with that. So anything extra is just pure want, and you can get things given to you for free, and most likely won't be the brand name you really want, but that's okay if you can't afford anything else. You know what, my mom always told me, beggars can't be choosers, and it's very true. And the last one that I'm adding on here is because this is a fairly, most of the time, need for a lot of people if they're working especially. And even if they're not, everybody needs to get from one place to another. So transportation is the last one that I have on my list. We all need to get to work and need to get home or need to get to school or whatever, wherever you were doing or whatever you're, you know, maybe you need to go to town to sell something. That's still work. But do we need an Escalade or, you know, a Beamer or a limo? Do we need to, you know, buy the biggest, best, all the whistles cars? Do we need those? Absolutely not. My car is a write-off from MPI. We got it for $4,000, just over $4,000. I paid cash for it. I don't have any payment on it, and it has hail damage and some other stuff done. That's why it was written off. Gets me from point A to point B, and that's all I need. And if I keep it clean and maintained, it's going to last me quite a while. So, I mean, again, now for my own self, these past, I guess, almost couple weeks now have been very eye-opening on my wants and my needs. I used to think I needed to go shopping every time I found a huge deal. My freezer is still pretty, like, full, and I don't need to go to the movies, and we don't even need to buy snacks on the weekends. This will be 2 weekends now that we haven't had any kind of snacks that aren't homemade, and we're just living with what we have, and this is what people had to do back in the day. And I think that people maybe should live a little simpler life, and you know, it's quite enjoyable, and you realize what you actually have is what you need. And I'm not talking to those people who are in dire need of food and shelter. I'm talking about 90% of people here in North America who have way more than we will ever need. And why are there so many videos on decluttering? Because we have too much. I haven't seen anybody on YouTube that is in dire need of anything. We're all surviving. We can pay for internet, and that's something that most people can afford in places like, you know, third world countries. None of them have internet, so we are all very well off in the eyes of others, and that's taken a bit of traveling around the world to find out, and, you know, working and volunteering in shelters and food shelters and stuff like that. And it's just really eye-opening to see what do we actually need, and how much of an overabundance does most people have. And I'm not saying any of this to be judgmental or harsh. It's just reality, and from what I've seen in my own life. And that's all I wanted to share today. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and, you know, just go through your home, have a look around, walk around, and, you know, realize how much we have, and say, wow, you know, and just be happy and content with what we have. And I think that's a big part of living a frugal life, is just being happy and content with what we already have and trying to make things work out of the things that maybe we normally would throw away. And yeah, that's all. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, fabulous day. I will see you next time. Bye.